Hey guys, in today's video, learn about the story of Celestia, a woman who, after a life of inexplicable pain, had a near-death experience and discovered the secret code of the universe. What she saw and felt on the other side is something that will challenge everything you believe. Before we start, leave your like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any stories like this. Get ready for a surprising revelation. My name is Celestia, and today I'm going to share something that completely changed my life. I'm not like most people, you know. Since I was young, I have lived with a chronic illness that doctors have never been able to fully explain. There is constant pain, unexplained symptoms, and a permanent feeling that my body is fighting something invisible. I spent years visiting offices, taking exams, and looking for answers that never came. Traditional medicine offered palliatives, but never a definitive solution to my suffering. Every day is a different battle. Sometimes I wake up feeling like every muscle in my body is screaming. At other times, it's such a profound fatigue that I can barely get out of bed. I have learned to live with it, to adapt my routine to good and bad times. But it's not easy. People look at me and don't understand. After all, I look normal on the outside. But inside, it's like I carry an invisible weight that no one else can see or understand. Tonight, as I share my story, I am in my room. The same room where everything happened. The light blue walls, the curtains gently swaying in the night breeze, my bed with the white sheets I love so much. Everything looks the same, but at the same time, different, because it was here, in this familiar space, that I experienced something that challenged everything I believed I knew about life and death. I'm not a person who tends to share my experiences easily. I have always been more reserved, preferring to keep my struggles to myself. But what happened to me was so profound, so transformative, that I feel I need to share. Maybe someone else going through something similar can find comfort or hope in my words. Maybe someone who has never experienced this can begin to understand that there is much more to this world than meets the eye. Right now, while the memories are still fresh in my mind, I can feel that unique feeling of surrender again. It was after a particularly difficult day, one in which the pain seemed stronger than normal. I was lying in my bed, watching the shadows the lamp cast on the ceiling. My body hurt, as always, but there was something different in the air. A strange kind of calm, a peace I had never experienced before. For the first time in years, I didn't fight the feeling. I didn't try to distract myself with television or books. I didn't look for another medicine to alleviate the discomfort. I simply surrendered. I closed my eyes and let out a deep breath, feeling every muscle in my body relax. It was as if an ancient, familiar force that I didn't even know existed was calling to me. Amidst the silence of the room, a clear and deep voice echoed inside my mind. "Are you ready?" It wasn't a voice I knew, but it didn't scare me either. It was as if every cell in my body recognized that call. Without hesitation, without questioning, I said yes. Not with words, but with my whole being. It was then that I felt it. 3 loud knocks in my chest, as if someone was knocking on a door. But it was a door inside me. Each beat reverberated throughout my body, sending waves of energy that I could feel all the way to my fingertips. And then, in an instant, everything went dark. It was not the ordinary darkness of a room at night, but something deeper, more complete. Now, I find myself enveloped by what I can only describe as living black velvet. It's a feeling impossible to fully translate into earthly words. There is no floor beneath my feet. There are no walls around me, not even a roof over my head. It's an absolute void, but paradoxically, it's the most welcoming place I've ever been. This void pulsates. Yes, it beats like a giant, universal heart. Each pulse brings with it a wave of love so pure and intense that I feel like I'm being washed from the inside. It is a love unlike anything I have ever experienced on earth. It's not the love of a mother, a partner, or a friend. It's something bigger, deeper, more complete. I realize that I no longer feel my physical body. There is no pain. There is no discomfort. There are no limits. It's as if I have transformed into pure consciousness. Yet I can feel everything around me with stunning clarity. It's as if every particle of this void is alive and conscious, communicating with me in a wordless language. The darkness here is not scary. It's like a warm, comforting hug that envelops my entire being. I feel a presence, a superior intelligence that permeates this entire space. I don't see her with physical eyes, which I no longer have, but I perceive her with absolute certainty. This presence conveys an ancient wisdom, a knowledge that seems to encompass all existence. Time seems to not exist here. I can't tell if I've been in this state for seconds or eternities. Each moment is complete in itself, filled with a peace that transcends all human understanding. It's as if all the searching of my life, all the fighting against illness and pain, has prepared me for this moment of total understanding. As I float in this welcoming void, I begin to notice a subtle shift. A current of energy, gentle at first, begins to envelop me. It is as if the void itself is gaining movement, creating an invisible but perceptible flow. This energy has no temperature. It is neither hot nor cold, but it has a vibrant quality that makes my entire being resonate in harmony. The current gradually intensifies, and I feel myself being moved by it. There is no fear or resistance on my part. It's as if I were a leaf being carried by a gentle wind, but a wind that has purpose and direction. Each movement feels perfectly orchestrated, as if it were part of a larger cosmic dance. This energy has an almost musical quality. I don't hear sounds in the traditional sense, but I perceive vibrations that resemble a silent symphony. Each note of this invisible music seems to carry a deep meaning, as if they were messages encoded in the very fabric of reality. As the current moves me, I begin to feel a growing pull toward something I cannot yet see. It's as if there is a distant focal point, a specific destination to which I am being guided. The energy increases in intensity, but in a way that remains completely natural and harmonious. The movement becomes more defined now. I am no longer just floating. I am being deliberately led. It's as if the universe itself is taking me by the hand, guiding me through this living void towards something important. Each moment brings with it a growing sense of anticipation, as if I were about to discover something fundamental about the nature of existence. Suddenly, I am plunged into a tunnel of such intense blue that it seems to pulsate with a life of its own. The walls of this tunnel are not solid. They are made up of endless sequences of ones and zeros that move at breakneck speed. It's as if I'm inside a cosmic computer, watching the very code of reality in motion. Each passing number carries with it information that, in some way, I can instinctively understand. It is not a mental understanding, but a direct absorption of knowledge. I see how each sequence connects with the others, forming complex patterns that seem to contain the secrets of the universe. The movement through this tunnel is surreal. I'm not just passing through it, I'm becoming part of it. The codes seem to flow through me as much as around me. It's as if each number, each sequence, is being engraved into my essence, changing my very nature in some fundamental way. Time and space seem distorted here. One moment I feel like I'm traveling at the speed of light. In the other, it is as if each second expanded into an eternity. The codes continue their ceaseless movement, creating patterns that resemble constellations, galaxies, and molecular structures. I understand in this moment that I am witnessing something beyond normal human understanding. This tunnel is not just a passage, it is a living library containing all universal knowledge. Each sequence of numbers tells a story: the birth of stars, the formation of planets, the evolution of life, the thoughts of every being that ever existed. It's overwhelmingly beautiful and scary at the same time. I emerge from the tunnel into a space that defies earthly description. It's a room, if I can call it that, filled with a light so intense it seems alive. It is not a light that dazzles or hurts. It is a light that nourishes, that welcomes, that seems to penetrate the deepest part of my being. The walls, if they exist, are made of pure luminosity. I can't tell where this space begins or ends, but it doesn't matter. The light pulses at different frequencies, creating patterns that appear to contain deep meanings. Each pulse brings with it a new understanding, as if the light itself is communicating universal truths. It was at that moment that I noticed a presence. Before me, a figure materializes that radiates serenity and wisdom. It is Lumiel, a being of light who seems to carry within him the essence of thousands of years of knowledge. Its form is not quite human, but it is not quite ethereal either. It is something between the two states. Communication with Lumiel happens without words. Your thoughts flow directly into my consciousness, crystal clear. He shows me how the universe is supported by mathematical formulas of unimaginable complexity. Your every thought materializes into perfect geometric shapes that dance in the space around us. Through this silent communication, I begin to understand how every part of existence is connected through perfect mathematical balance. I see equations unfolding in the air, demonstrating how each atom, each particle, each living being is part of a greater universal calculation. It is a revelation that transcends any earthly scientific knowledge. Right now, I feel myself being gently pulled into a new dimension within this room of light. Here, I find myself surrounded by other beings, different from Lumiel, but equally magnificent. Each emits a unique frequency of light and energy, creating a visual symphony of colors and vibrations. Communication between us is instantaneous and multidimensional. We don't need words or gestures. Thoughts flow freely between our consciousnesses, creating a web of mutual understanding. It is as if we are all part of the same cosmic dance, each contributing our own unique movement to the harmony of the whole. When I think of something, a tree covered in snow, for example, the image not only forms in my mind, but materializes in the space around us, transforming and evolving as the thoughts of other beings intertwine with mine. It is a form of collaborative creation that transcends any earthly experience. In a moment of curiosity, I express my desire to try flying. Instantly, I feel uplifted, free from any physical limitations. The other beings join me in this aerial dance, and together we create movement patterns that seem to tell ancient stories about the creation of the universe. The feeling of union with these beings is profound and transformative. Each of them seems to contain within them entire libraries of knowledge and experience, and through our connection, I get glimpses of realities and dimensions I never imagined existed. It is as if each being is a window to a different aspect of universal truth. The environment changes subtly, and I find myself in a new configuration of this dimension of light. Before me, 7 imposing figures appear, each radiating a unique and powerful energy. They position themselves in a perfect semicircle, and their joint presence creates an energy field that makes the entire space vibrate at a high frequency. Each of these 7 beings appears to represent a different aspect of universal wisdom. Their bodies, if I can call them that, are made of pure light, but each emits a different color of the spectrum. Together, they form a rainbow of divine knowledge that leaves me in a state of profound awe. One of them, the one occupying the central position, holds out something that I can only describe as a golden scroll. This parchment floats in the air between us, and its pages appear to be made of liquid light. Symbols and words in a language I've never seen before dance across its surface, shining like newborn stars. As I observe these symbols, I realize that I can understand them, not with my mind, but with my deepest essence. Each symbol contains universal truths, revelations about the nature of existence that make my being vibrate in resonance at a higher frequency. As I absorb these revelations, I feel a deep connection with each of the 7 masters. It's as if they are guiding me through an initiation process, sharing knowledge that has been kept since the beginning of time. Each symbol on the scroll is a key that opens doors of understanding in my consciousness. At this precise moment, I experience an expansion of consciousness that transcends any previous experience. It's as if every barrier that separated my being from the rest of the universe has simply dissolved. I feel connected to every particle of existence, every atom, every thought that has ever existed or will ever exist. The feeling is overwhelming in its intensity. I can perceive the pulsation of distant stars as if they were the beating of my own heart. I feel the movement of the planets as if they were extensions of my own body. The dance of electrons, the flow of life energy in every living being, the very fabric of space-time, all of this is now part of my expanded consciousness. Through this connection, I understand that there is truly no separation between beings. We are all different manifestations of the same universal energy, like different waves in the same cosmic ocean. Every thought, every action, every moment of existence is intrinsically linked to everything else in the universe, in an infinitely complex web of connections. In this state of total union, I also realize the illusory nature of linear time. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in an eternal now. I see how every choice, every decision, creates ripples that ripple through this universal web, affecting all of existence in subtle but profound ways. The presence of the 7 masters merges with this experience of universal unity. His teachings are no longer just information being passed down, they are living truths that leap through the very fabric of reality. Each symbol on the golden scroll is a key that opens new dimensions of understanding, revealing ever deeper layers of meaning. Now, while I am still immersed in this state of expanded consciousness, I feel a gentle but insistent pull pulling me back. It's as if my physical body is calling me back to earthly reality. However, this time, the transition isn't abrupt or scary. It's a natural flow, like a dance between different states of being. The intense light that surrounds me begins to pulse at a different rhythm, more synchronized with my physical heartbeat. The seven masters are still present, but their forms begin to become more ethereal, as if they are dissolving back into the fabric of the universe. The golden parchment floats one last time before my eyes, its symbols glowing with a final intensity, as if they want to engrave their messages eternally into my soul. Each symbol seems to hold a promise, a reminder that this experience is not an end, but a beginning, an initiation into a new level of understanding. I feel a deep gratitude filling my entire being. Gratitude for the pain that brought me here. Gratitude for the journey that allowed me to experience this expansion of consciousness. Gratitude for the wisdom that was shared with me. I understand now that each challenge in my life was a necessary step on this path of evolution. The universal connection remains, even as I feel my consciousness realigning with physical reality. It's as if I can keep one foot in each world, the physical and the spiritual, aware of the eternal dance between the two. The Master's last words echo in my consciousness. Remember, you are never truly separate. The connection always exists, even when your physical eyes cannot see it. And here I am, fully present in this transitional moment between two worlds. I feel the weight of my physical body starting to manifest itself again, but it's different now. The pain that once consumed me feels distant, as if I'm observing it through a veil of deeper understanding. Each physical sensation is accompanied by a new awareness of your greater purpose. My breathing returns gradually, each inhale bringing with it vivid memories of the experience I just had. The air that enters my lungs seems charged with a different energy, as if each molecule contains fragments of the universal wisdom I have experienced. I can feel the oxygen flowing through my body, dancing with every cell in a microscopic ballet of life. The light in my room begins to take shape again before my eyes. But now I see beyond simple physical lighting. Each ray of light seems to contain codes and messages, echoes of that blue tunnel through which I traveled. Shadows are no longer just the absence of light. They are portals to other dimensions of existence, constant reminders of the infinite depth of the universe. My physical senses return one by one, each bringing a new perspective on reality. The sounds of the outside world, the wind in the trees, the distant murmur of the city, now seem like notes from a universal symphony. Each sound is a word in a cosmic language that I now begin to understand intuitively. The words of the Master still echo in my consciousness, not as distant memories, but as living truths that continue to unfold within me. I feel like every breath, every heartbeat, is a continuation of that cosmic dance I experienced. The separation between the physical and spiritual worlds no longer seems so clear-cut. They are just different expressions of the same infinite reality. If you like this beautiful spiritual testimony, leave a like, comment on your impressions, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the notification bell to watch each new video and help us spread this message to a greater number of people. Until next time.